record this because some of our friends cannot join us, so we will have a recording of this. But for those of you I've not met, I'm Kara Matthews, and I'm the Encore representative. And this evening, I am super excited that we have Rachel and Duran with us. I've known Rachel since our moms had been best friends for years, and Rachel was 7 when we met the first time. And she has, my first encounter with Rachel is she was volunteering at a veterinary clinic. And I had a cat that was very sick. And I remember this sweet Rachel sitting in the back of the van with me while I was driving, and we were going to the veterinary.
I know.
And she just had this extraordinary amount of gentility and compassion. And I don't know, it was one of those things where I just kind of knew God was going to do great things through her and within her, and that has been the case. So I'm going to say a quick prayer and then turn it over to Rachel and Duran. So let us get started. Gracious and loving God, we're so thankful for this day that you have made, for this time where we can come together and learn about how to take care of our minds, our hearts, our bodies, especially when we experience just the basic fragility of life, God. God, we pray that you will open our minds and hearts, that you will reveal those areas in our lives where we need to make changes, so that we can be the temples you've called us to be. And God, we're just so thankful for this time that you've given us. We love you. Amen. Okay, go ahead and get started.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's so great to see you, and thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here. Kara, when you were telling that story, I was just getting warm inside because I completely forgot about that. But that's, yeah, our families kind of go way back, and so I'm just excited that we're still connected today and get to share so many different experiences. So my name's Rachel, and
I'm Duran. Nice to meet everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening with you all.
Yeah, we are newly engaged and both kind of in the health and wellness fields. And so we're excited to be here and share some things with you all today, and hopefully help you a little bit with some things that you might be interested in. Now, we do have like a quick a PowerPoint, but I just want to see if everybody can see it. Let's see. Can you see that?
Yes, perfect. Can you guys all see that?
I'm gonna make it bigger.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, great. So it's a little tricky to see you guys in the PowerPoint. So, we want to make this interactive. If you have questions or anything you want to discuss, just go ahead and jump in, or Kara, you can let us know also, but we'll go ahead and get started. So this is us. By trade, I guess. I serve as a dietitian and a lactation consultant. So I mostly work with new moms and babies, or anybody that's interested in improving their nutrition. I'll let you tell me what you do.
So my name is Duran again, and I work as a fitness coordinator, actually as a certified fitness coordinator, medical exercise specialist, and personal trainer at a retirement community in Matthews, North Carolina. I'm not sure if some of you have heard of Windsor Run Retirement Community in Matthews. That's where I work, and I'm the fitness and wellness coordinator at that community. So I work with a lot of seniors and just really helping them keep their quality of life at a good, solid level, and also help them improve their quality of life if they so choose through all means of wellness, but basically physical exercise and activity. I teach a lot of classes from aqua aerobics, balance classes. We teach stretching, gentle stretching. We even have strength training and resistance training. So pretty much a pretty wide genre of areas that we teach where I work at. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so happy to share some knowledge with you all this evening, and just wanted to give you all some tips on how to stay fit and how to stay healthy. So I'm looking forward to it.
Go this way.
All right, great. So we don't want to just kind of talk at you all. We want this to be a beneficial, use of everybody's time. So since our group is kind of small, if you don't mind, we'd like to just kind of go around and maybe tell us your name and a little bit about you and anything you'd like to get out of today. And then one thing we like to kind of open up with too is just something that made you smile this week. So anything you can think of that kind of brought some sunshine to your life. So whoever would like to go first?
Okay, I'm Norma, and this is Bill Keys, and let's see, we're retired people, and glad about that. I advised everybody is retired just as soon as you can. Okay, that's a good rule of thumb. But we're enjoying our retirement years. But we garden. Bill does a lot of projects. He does a lot more than I do. But anyway, we want to be as healthy as we can for as long as we can for our children and grandchildren. And the funniest thing that made us laugh this week, me getting up at 3:30 this morning to take our children to the airport. Oh,
Okay.
I mean, geez.
That's called love, Norma.
Yeah.
It was, we might as well have laughed about it. It was pretty sad.
Wow, that's early.
It is. That's a bit early.
Well, the best part of the story is I came home and took a 3-hour nap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best part for
There
sure.
you go. There you go.
I guess when you wake up that early, the best thing you can do is laugh. So,
Okay, well, thank you all.
anybody else want to share what made them smile this week?
Well, my name is Zona, and we take turns occasionally keeping our grandkids. They live close by, but we like to have them spend the night on one sometimes. So Sunday night, my grandson spent the night, and he's 6. And I told him, I said, Nolan, you're our special little grandson, and we love you very much. And he said, thank you for saying that. I just thought that was so sweet, because he's not like our granddaughter who's, lovey and emotional and stuff like that. He's more like, I don't want any huggies or kissies, it's that kind of stuff. So for him to say something that's kind of sweet and emotional just made me really smile this week.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So, and he'll occasionally, I'll say, come give Grammy some huggies and kisses. And sometimes he'll come over there, and other times he'll go, I don't want any huggies and kisses. He's a 6-year-old boy. He's kind of getting that age to where, where Daphne will be 9 this month, and she still will run up and hug us and, wants to cuddle even. So I guess that emotional thing that girls need compared to boys sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, nice to meet you as well.
We'll go next, if that's okay.
Sure.
We're Roger and Kathy Moore, and I don't know how long we've been at the church, but a long time. We're both retired. I'd say we've been at the church 25 years or more, so that to me is a long time. We are both retired. We try to keep active by walking. We both walk every morning. I don't know what else I can do and not hurt myself. You laugh, but the doctor said walking is good for you. And what made me smile this week would have been when our daughter came for Easter.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No,
Great.
Always great. to see family.
Kathy, I was laughing because I do a lot of YouTube exercise classes. And today I decided to try something new, like a bar class. There was a lot of squatting going on there, let me tell you. I think I'm going to have pretty sore thighs tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you meant a drinking class. Yeah, gone it.
That would have been more fun than trying to do all those squats.
Oh, word. Oh.
I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Paige, and my family and I have been long-term members at Apex UMC. We've probably been there about 21 years now. I have 3 kids, 2 at UNC Chapel Hill and 1 at Apex Friendship High. And I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, but I'm looking into possibilities of getting back into the workforce after all this time. But I've really tried, we have a dog too, so he's a very active dog. So I walk a lot with him. And my oldest daughter has been staying home here more while she's doing, virtual classes, right? So she got me into doing yoga on YouTube, and I've been loving that because I need more flexibility. I've been one of the most inflexible people. I always watch this woman, how does she do these things? I do my best. But then the thing that made me smile was today, my best friend who lives in Asheville, Sarah, right? She wanted to be here tonight.
Love Sarah.
But she sent me a picture of a mama bear with 4 cubs walking right by her house. But they were just so cute, the cubs.
Oh,
I love that.
that is cute.
Mm.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you too.
I'll go next. My name is Jim Whittick. I've been in the area for 9 years after spending most of my life in the Washington, D.C. area. And Duran, I just want to mention to you, some of my grandkids live in Charlotte, and I've been out to the fabulous soccer fields at Matthews many times.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of open space out there.
Yes. Before the pandemic, I was a regular at the Cary YMCA, but I kind of been doing it on my own since then.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with Cary, with the Cary Y.
Yeah.
Great. That's nice to meet you.
You too.
All right.
And the lady sitting next to you too.
Great to meet you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Okay, well, we'll keep going. And again, if you guys have anything, just feel free to interrupt us. Let's see. Okay. So kind of like Kara mentioned, our goal today was just to kind of talk about different ways, practical ways, things that make it easy for us to sort of have healthier bodies and minds and spirits as well. So just kind of looking at the things that impact our overall well-being. And mostly like baby steps, things that we can do, small things that are ultimately going to have bigger impacts. It's like somebody else. I got to move you guys to be able to see. So this is just some more information just about kind of what we would like to talk with you today about. We kind of just want to make this again something that can help each one of you. And so it's kind of great that it's a smaller group because maybe we can talk more about specifics. But anytime you're talking about nutrition and fitness, it's really important to think of yourself as an individual, right? I think we both get asked a lot of times questions about, what do I do for this? Or what should I eat? Or how should I move? And there's not one answer. It kind of really depends on you and your life and kind of what you have going on. So we'll get into that a little bit. Again, the small steps, and then just really kind of some ways to balance all of those things, right? So finding balance is important. We want to be careful with how we're moving. We also want to be careful with how we're feeding ourselves, but we also want to make sure we're getting some rest too, right? So finding the balance between all of those things and really doing things that make us happy ultimately. All right. So another question we kind of have for you all, you mentioned, some of you mentioned this in your introductions to us, but what are some goals that you specifically have, if you'd like to share? So anything that you feel like you need or you want for your own body. These are some examples that we normally hear people say. Sometimes people will tell us, well, I might have these concerns or medical concerns going on, or I just want better sleep, or I just want to be able to move a little bit better, or, work on my flexibility. Like I think that was you, Miss Page. Whatever it is, just kind of identifying some things that specifically are of interest to you. So anybody have anything in mind?
Lower blood pressure and avoid getting diabetes.
Okay, so lower blood pressure and avoid getting diabetes. Okay, those are great goals.
I
Anyone else?
also have concerns with blood pressure, and I have arthritis, so improved mobility is good.
Okay.
Lower blood pressure, improved mobility. Okay.
I didn't see him before either.
One of mine is maintaining mobility, because the last thing I want to do in the last years of my life is not be able to walk and go where I want to go. So keeping my legs in shape, at least, is important to me.
Okay.
Okay. Making sure you can still get around and stay in shape.
Yep.
All right.
I agree. I think the hardest thing nowadays is if you get down the floor trying to get back up again.
Yeah.
I walk and I do the FX machine, and elliptical machine that I have at home. And I used to go to the gym, but I don't think I probably stretch like I should. I don't use, like I said, do that. I don't know, is it called bar or is it bear class? I don't know, the BARR class that I did on YouTube. That's something I haven't done, and I just use the muscles in a different way. But if I get down the floor with the grandkids and you're trying to get up, I'd like to know what the key is to get off the floor easier.
Yeah. So having that flexibility and mobility, it sounds like, to do everyday things, right?
We used to hear stories about people who, like they'd fall down, they couldn't get up. And I'm like, well, why can't they get up? I was in my 30s and 40s. I'm like, well, why can't you get up off the floor if you fall down? What, now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, it is harder to get off the floor. Even though you feel like you're using muscles, like I do arm weights and stuff, but I just feel like I don't have something, strength I need or mobility to get. I can do it. It's just, it's not like when you were like 30, you could just jump off the floor.
Right.
Sure. And generally, as you age, as we all age, we tend to lose about 10% of our muscle mass every 10 years as we get older. It's called sarcopenia. And so as we get older, our bodies naturally get weaker and weaker. And it becomes all the more important to add strength training to your routine. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes, what that looks like. That's a good point. We're glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people do neglect their strength training. When you typically hear people that want to improve their health and their physical wellness, you'll hear more cardiovascular exercise, like walking and things of that sort. But strength training also plays a really crucial role in that as well.
I really missed that from the gym, because I would work out with the weight machines, not heavy weights, but enough that I felt like it was kind of helping keeping some strength. That I'm not going to the gym back for a while. Maybe I'm just being over paranoid, but even though I've had my vaccine, I'm still not going to the gym for a while.
Sure.
Understandable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk more about that and just some things you can do around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
I think also the vitamin and mineral absorption and all that, because I'm always confused about which, like particularly as I age and with bone, density and all that, vitamin D, and which one absorbs better, and all that, and the safest vitamins and all that, the most pure and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll touch on that as well.
Definitely.
Anything else? Okay, so so we have a video that we want to. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. We'll do this one next. I'll let Duran kind of jump in here, and then we'll watch a video.
So when we all talk about goal setting, many people want to know how to actually achieve their goals, and so one of the best ways that we can do that is by an acronym that we use in the wellness field called SMART, S-M-A-R-T. And again, that just helps us give us a baseline to track our goals accurately and keep us on track with whatever goals that we set. And so with that said, I'll just sort of walk you through each letter and sort of explain a real life example of how you can accurately and easily track your goals and keep yourself on pace for whatever goals you set. So again, the acronym is SMART, and we'll start with the letter S. And so S means specific. So for example, when you're setting you want to set real numbers, you want to have real deadlines. For example, if you're saying that you want to lose weight, this is one I hear a lot of where I work at. They say, Duran, how do I lose weight? Or how can I lose a certain amount of pounds? Well, I'll ask the person, I'll say, how much weight do you want to lose? Typically with the S in SMART, you don't want to generalize. You don't want to just say, I want to just lose weight, or I want to just put on some muscle, or I want to get stronger. We really want to specify exactly what that means. So typically, again, we'll go back to the weight loss example. How much weight do you want to lose? Do you want to lose 5 pounds? Do you want to lose 15 pounds? So again, it's all about being specific with the S, okay? So that's specific. The M is measurable. And this is very easy. I know we're in 2021. I'm kind of old school. I still like to use pen and paper, write down things. A lot of the kids nowadays like to use the smartphones and smartwatches and all this, which is good because that helps us. That's one way to track our goals, which is the M. So we want to see how measurable are our goals. Can we write down our progress? Can we track our progress through whatever means that we like? Again, whether that's using pen and paper, whether we have a smartwatch. I'm not sure how many of you actually have the Apple watches or the Samsung watches, but that's another popular way. Even through your phone, there's different apps that you can download on your laptop, your iPads, your iPhones that can also help you track your goals and whatever those may be. And so moving on to the A, that's attainable. This is important because we want to make sure that your goal it's challenging. It's going to really push you. It's going to give you give you that great feeling of accomplishment once you do achieve it. But we want to make sure that it's realistic. And this can be a little bit difficult for some people because they may be so overeager. And again, we'll go back to the weight loss example. I really want to lose weight. I really want to lose as much weight as possible. But making it attainable is one way of breaking it down into smaller goals. So for example, say somebody wants to lose 10 pounds by the 1st of June, for example. Well, we can say, let's go for a goal of a half a pound a week, maybe, or a third a pound a week. And again, we can track that with the M previously stated by measuring those goals. So maybe a half a pound, maybe a third of a pound, little by little until we chip away at that goal until before you know it, we've accomplished and achieved our goal. And so moving on to the R, this attainable and realistic, again, sort of tie into one another. It's all about being honest and assessing what your goal really is. And again, what you're capable of. We all know our bodies. We all know what we're capable of. I know a few of you said that you may have, you're not as young as you used to be. So getting up off the floor might not be an option anymore. Or if you used to be a runner, you may have to start walking. You may have to start jogging in order to lose your weight. If you want to, have a weight loss goal. This is just for an example, obviously. But again, it's all about being realistic with yourself. And then obviously the last one is time bound. So you want to give yourself a deadline. Some people where I work, when they ask me, how can I improve my physical health and wellness? They'll say, oh, someday I want to lose 10 pounds at some point in my life. Well, some point in your life is the rest of your life. So we want to kind of inch that down a little bit, give them a more concise deadline, because studies have shown that if you give yourself a deadline, that's going to intrinsically help you motivate yourself subconsciously to reach that goal faster and quicker and more efficiently. And so we can give some practical examples throughout the slide and the rest of this presentation as to what that looks like. And I also have some household items here for those of you that want to get into a workout. If you're asking, how do I keep my strength up outside of a gym? I don't have a gym membership anymore. I don't plan on going to a gym. We do have some things to show you here shortly. So we're looking forward to continuing that in a couple of minutes.
Okay. So any questions about that? Anybody heard of SMART goals before, or does that kind of help you as we're thinking about, the different things you're interested in working on? Yeah. So we're going to watch a quick video. It's like 2 or 3 minutes, I think, and kind of switch over to some nutrition stuff. And then after that, we're going to come back and talk about both concepts. But give me just a minute. I'm going to try to pull it up. And you all just let me know if you can't see or hear this video. Okay.
Nutrition needs change as we age. We may become less active, our metabolism slows, and our ability to absorb some nutrients becomes less efficient. This means that the food we choose to eat and the amount of nutrients in those foods become even more important. Use My Plate for Older Adults as a tool to help you when you shop, decide on types and combinations of foods you cook, and as a reminder that the foods you choose to eat should be rich in vitamins and minerals. My Plate for Older Adults was created in the framework of the 2015 to 2020 Dietary Guidelines for Americans from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The plate is divided into 5 sections: fruits and vegetables, grains, dairy, protein, healthy oils, and separate sections for herbs and spices and fluids. Half of the plate includes fruit and vegetables. It's important to eat several servings of different colored fruits and vegetables per day because they provide a variety of nutrients and fiber. Fresh, frozen, pre-peeled, fresh, dried, and low sodium and low sugar canned are all great options of nutritious fruits and vegetables. Make a quarter of your plate whole grains, such as whole wheat pasta or whole wheat bread. Eating whole grains and fortified cereals are excellent ways to get enough vitamins and fiber. Include multiple servings of fat-free and low-fat dairy products like milk, cheeses, and yogurts that give us much-needed protein, calcium, and other nutrients. Protein-rich foods like nuts, beans, fish, eggs, and lean meats and poultry give our bodies many important nutrients. Prepare protein-rich foods with little added salt and saturated fat, like butter or cheese. Use liquid vegetable oils, such as soybean, corn, canola, and olive when cooking and preparing things like salad dressings. They contain healthy fats. Consume plenty of fluids, especially in warmer weather. Fluids can come from beverages such as water, tea, and coffee, and foods such as soups, fruits, and vegetables. As we age, our thirst declines, but that does not mean our body does not need fluids to regulate body temperature, transport nutrients, and lubricate joints. Reduce the use of salt to flavor food, using a variety of herbs and spices to enhance flavor of the foods on your plate and add variety to your diet. Eating meals with a variety of healthy foods will certainly help you feel your best, but it's also really important to stay active. Walking, biking, gardening, and swimming are just some of the great ways to improve your health and can reduce your risk of disease and disability and help you stay independent. Making small changes and sticking with them is the best approach to long-term improvements in eating and physical activity. If you plan on making major changes in your diet, talk with your primary healthcare provider. Remember, you are in charge when it comes to food and beverage choices. It's never too late to improve your eating habits and be good to yourself for a healthier, happier, and more independent life as you age.
Right. So we'll go back to our PowerPoint here. Any thoughts about that video or questions that you have?
I have a question about grains, which is recommended. Grains, of course, like whole wheat bread is loaded with carbs too.
Yeah, so this kind of is a little bit better of a visual. So all of these things are really about balance, right? So carbohydrates, I think, sometimes kind of get a a bad rap, I guess, in society. And like anything, you know, it's not that they're necessarily bad. It's just that we have to think about how much of them we're consuming, you know, especially if we have different conditions like diabetes, especially, or things like that, that kind of, you know, force us to monitor them a little bit better. But carbohydrates themselves are not really a terrible thing. You know, we actually kind of need them because they're sort of the main big nutrient that give us our energy to do simple stuff like just walk around, even when we're sleeping and resting. Carbohydrates are the things that kind of keep our heart beating, keep our blood kind of circulating through. So it's not that they're, you know, awful, but you're right. We do sometimes need to be careful how much we're eating. I think just kind of depending on what you like. I love everything, so finding that balance can be tricky. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Did that help a little bit?
Yep.
Okay. And most people know, you know, I'm supposed to eat healthy. Like I'm supposed to eat a variety of foods. Most people know that, right? But it's not necessarily the easiest thing. What are some things that you all feel like makes it a little bit challenging for you? Anything specific that you feel is a little bit tough?
Sugar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just sweets in general, or
I see
yeah.
that's not in the video.
Yeah.
Like,
Getting husband to eat less pasta.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We like what we like. I know.
that's right. Yeah.
And it's, you know, you might find some I don't know, there are definitely some dietitians who are maybe more strict than others. I'm kind of one of those, you know, focus on what you need to focus on for yourself. Don't really jump on bandwagons, but also, you know, not really a food police person. You know, I think that it's okay to eat cake if you enjoy cake, you know, just don't eat cake every day on all day. It's just, everything is about balance, but part of food is the enjoyment. And I think that brings a sense of something to our lives. So I think food is meant to be enjoyed as well as kind of nourish us. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as we're balancing too.
Yeah. God didn't give us taste buds for nothing.
Right.
That's right.
Another
What'd you say?
Another challenge is getting the number and variety of fruits and vegetables every day. And one way I do that is at lunch, I have a smoothie every day and throw in a bunch of fruits and a vegetable or two.
Yeah, that's great. Smoothies are great. And you're right, as a society, at least in this country, we definitely don't get as many fruits and vegetables as we need. So smoothies are awesome. I like those too. And they're a great way to kind of throw a bunch of things in at once, especially if there's something you don't feel like you're getting enough of, or you may not like, you know, to eat it just by itself. Like some people aren't fans of greens, the leafy ones like spinach and kale and all of that. But if you throw them in a smoothie with some fruit, sometimes don't even know they're there. So
especially with a tablespoon of honey, that makes it all good. Okay?
There you go.
That makes it all good.
Rachel, let me just quickly ask you, because my oldest daughter, she's not only saving me and making me do yoga, but she's decided to cut out sugar almost entirely.
Okay.
And she's really gotten into dates, like to sweeten things.
Mhm.
That has really been interesting because she's actually made date paste.
Yeah.
Like you just puree dates with a little water. And we have this banana bread recipe that we really love. We called it our pandemic banana bread. We made it all the time. So then just recently we tried substituting the sugar for that and it worked great. And it gave it like more moistness and everything. It was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, some things, like we were talking about before, some sugar's okay. I think when we get into trouble is when we're doing too many things with added sugars, right? So there's a lot of foods that naturally have sugars, like the dates you're talking about. A lot of our fruits have natural sugars in them. So those aren't necessarily as terrible, you know, we don't really have to stay away from those the same way. So I think that's a great idea. There's lots of ways to sweeten things with foods that are naturally sweet. So yeah.
They say it doesn't spike your glycemic response or whatever. Supposedly the date's as bad as sugar.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dates and, yeah.
Thank God Krispy Kreme isn't between my house and
Yeah.
church. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And the hot
Talk about temptation. Oh my goodness.
And now if you have your vaccination card, you can get a free donut every
I
day.
know it. What is
I
that?
did not know that. Don't tell me that.
There's one not too far from where we live. So
Oh, watch out. Be careful. Watch
Yeah.
out. Be careful.
it's tough.
Yeah. Oh man, I know. I have to be careful because I'm definitely ice cream, cookie, cake, all of
Oh
that kind of girl. And so
yeah.
some things I just limit how often I bring them in the house.
That's right.
The things that I get when we go out, but definitely still enjoy them. I don't want to deprive myself because I feel like that brings upon unnecessary stress, and that's not what life's about.
I don't have to feel guilty eating my ice cream with my grandkids. That's what they ask for when they come
Oh,
over.
no, not at
Can
all.
we go get ice cream?
You enjoy that ice
But then
cream.
my-
Ice cream has calcium in it. Yeah. No, that's a great thing.
Fortunately, they don't come over enough to get ice cream though. So
Need them to come over some more so you guys can go out. Yeah. And there's good and bad in everything, right? So sometimes people ask, is this a bad food or is this a good food? All food is really designed to kind of keep us alive, if that makes sense. So like our bodies are really, really smart, and anything that we eat, our body's going to find something to do with it. Even that piece of cake, even those cookies, our body processes it in some way or another. So it's just that finding that balance that keeps it all in check. But yeah, so I don't say there's good or bad foods, just kind of the importance of that variety and really trying to mix it up.
So I was going to ask, because apples and carrots, I think, have a high sugar content, right? But because it's a natural sugar, your body processes it differently, or because I've heard people say who are diabetic, oh, I can't eat carrots or I can't eat apples because the sugar in there. But I always thought they were like a good, fiber type of vegetable, fruit.
Yeah, and that's a great example of something that's got maybe some pros and cons for somebody with diabetes, so they do have those natural sugars, so that's going to be a better choice than maybe your cakes and cookies. But some fruits are, their natural sugars are higher than others. So like apples and bananas, they're going to be a little bit higher than maybe your berries. So like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, those have kind of a lower, I think somebody mentioned the glycemic index, basically how its ability to raise your blood sugar. Some fruits do that more than others. So those people would maybe just need to be mindful of either not eating it or eating it in smaller amounts, or, definitely balancing some protein with it. So lots of things to keep in mind.
I love apples. I eat a lot of apples. That may not be good for me then. Maybe I need to cut back on apples.
Well, I mean, that old saying has something, some goodness to it, that apple a day, and I think that just comes in. It's a fruit. It's healthy. It's got a lot of fiber, especially if you eat the skin. So
I always feel like it's cleaning my blood vessels of cholesterol. I like to think that for all the bad stuff I eat.
Yeah, they've got some great vitamins for that. Let's kind of just pull out maybe the main things from there, and you all just keep letting us know if you have questions. But the video just touched on, again, the importance of variety. So doing what you can. I know sometimes we don't like certain things, or maybe we're picky, or we have the things that we like and kind of go to a lot, but just kind of, branching out sometimes and trying different things. You might have heard people say, a variety of colors is important, and there's some truth to that, because usually different colors mean that it has different vitamins and minerals in it. Especially as we get older, those vitamins that you see there on the screen, calcium, vitamin D, your B12, fiber, and potassium become really important. And a lot of that is for, our bones and different things like that some of you mentioned earlier with your goals. And then I think it was Mr. Robert, the macronutrients. So your carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Those are kind of like the big groups. And then you have vitamins and minerals in another group. Again, all important. We wanted to spend just a minute talking about protein a little bit more. Have you all heard of, I'm sure you've heard of protein, but kind of why it's important to us. Again, especially as we get older, like Duran was talking about with the sarcopenia, protein is going to be really, really key for our muscles and bones. And not only does it help strengthen them, but we're constantly breaking down tissues and muscles and repairing them every day. Even when we do simple tasks, our body is kind of regenerating things. We get new skin, new blood cells, all of that kind of gets replaced almost on a daily basis. And protein plays a really big role in that. Also helps with our immune system. So if you can, protein is one of the big things I kind of harp on to try to get in, especially with meals, but even with snacks. So that's a great thing to keep in mind also. And then the other thing that they mentioned was fluids. Sometimes, we just aren't as thirsty. Does anyone have trouble with drinking enough, you think, or being a little dehydrated? Yeah, lots of people. It's hard, especially if you got other things going on or you just don't feel thirsty. Sometimes it feels like you're kind of drowning yourself or making yourself drink when you're not thirsty. But, just keep in mind, drink things that you enjoy. Try to get in water, but like the video mentioned, there's a lot of foods with fluid in them too. So those fruits and some of the vegetables can kind of help you out there too. So any other questions about those things? Okay, well, Duran's gonna kind of go into some of our activities with what we can do at home.
So, hello, back again. So I have a few household items with me, and I'm just going to flash these in front of the camera so you all can see. So here we are with the pineapple. We have a grapefruit here. We have a jug of water. We have a can of pickles.
This looks like a magic show.
Which I don't know. And we have a jar of tomato paste. And no, we're not getting ready to cook. We're not baking a recipe here. So these are actually common household items that you can use, and there's many, many more, to really just work out in your home and stay fit and help you stay in shape. And it's items like these that I actually recommend to residents that I work with every single day. And what I'll go ahead and do is just show you how you can use some common household items around your house to, again, help you with your strength training and just help you with the in-home workout. I know COVID has gotten a lot of us shut up inside of our homes, and we've all had cabin fever. I know I definitely have. I'm ready to get back out and do some things outside the house. But I also understand for those that don't have their vaccines yet, or if you've just gotten your vaccine, you really have some trepidations regarding going to public spaces. So I definitely understand that too. So with that said, I'll go ahead and stand up and we'll demonstrate just how to use some of these household items for you and what they can mean when it comes to your own personal health and fitness. So with the water jug, this is about, I'd say about 3 to 5 pounds, depending on how much water you have in here. This is a full jug. I have water filled all the way to the top, but you can put water halfway, however much you want. But this can be used as a simple bicep curl. You hold the handle here, up and down. That's a great way to get a nice bicep curl for your arms. This is fantastic, again, for the biceps, even for the forearm. So we have the top of the forearm here. You can go with a forearm curl. Same thing with the cans of tomato paste. And you also have your jar of pickles. Again, these are really good for grip strength. So if you have arthritis, a lot of residents have a lot of trouble gripping things and holding on to things. If you have a nice jar in your home that's kind of wide, has a wide base, you can use this to grip, hold on, just work on your squeezing, loosening, squeezing the hands, loosening, squeezing. But again, you can also use this as another method for a bicep curl. And these are a little bit lighter. These are usually about a pound, under a pound. Same thing with the tomato paste. Great way to work on your grip strength as well. The grapefruit, can be used almost like a shoulder press. So I can hold the grapefruit here. You can have your elbow at about a 90-degree angle, and you can push above your head this way. You can also push outwards to the side as well. So this is fantastic. Again, under a pound, pound and a half. If you want something a little bit heavier, we have our pineapple here. Again, you can hold it with 2 hands. You can go over the shoulders, over the head. Again, this is sort of more like an overhead press. So again, just some common household items. But one thing I definitely wanted to talk to you a little bit in regards to, you can leave it, you can hold it. In regards to your shoulder strength and upper body strength is really just working on your posture. And one of the beautiful things about posture and upper body is that you don't always need things like weights to really improve yourself. So one of the exercises that I love to show and teach my residents is what we call external rotation. A lot of residents, and as we age, we have a tendency to kind of slouch in like this. Our shoulders round, and a lot of people start walking kind of bent over like this. So a wonderful way to counteract that is to bring your arms out by your side. And if you can see my thumbs, I have both of my thumbs pointed up towards the ceiling. And then what we can do is slowly rotate our thumbs back behind us. So I'll turn around or to the side so you can see what that looks like. My thumbs are rotated to the side. And that's what we call external rotation. We're actually activating this muscle group in our rear deltoids. And this is a great way to work on your posture. It also helps us to retract our scapula and retract our spine. So it helps us to bring open our chest. And it really helps us to bring our shoulders back into that more neutral alignment position. That's really, really great for our shoulders. And it really helps with our posture as well. So that's a very fantastic, it's a simple exercise you can do. I'll have Rachel show it on the wall as well. Okay. So again, I'll be up against the door, sorry. So again, here, you can have a door and just use this door almost like a traction device. You can reach up towards the door here, keep the back of your hands against the door, and just slowly touch the back of your hands as you go down and bring your arms out all the way to the side. And this is all about good posture and working on our posture and that spinal flexion and extension as well. But not to worry, there's more, a little bit more. So
how often should you do that?
I like to do it every day, every single day. I'd say about 1 to 5 minutes. It doesn't take long to do it, but just practicing it about 30-second increments, starting all the way at the top, and then just sort of counting your way down, maybe a 10-second count, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, until you get all the way down. And then you can even work your way back up over your head. And of course, don't forget to rotate those thumbs this way. So your thumb is rotated back behind you. And so with that said, I also wanted to talk a little bit about your core, which is what's known as our abdominal wall, our abs, our obliques. So what makes up the core, I'm not sure if you heard that term, but that's what helps us support our spine. That's what helps us really keep a nice, strong midsection. And one of the best ways we can do core workouts in our home is from a chair. And this is an exercise that I give residents who may have had surgeries or who may have limited mobility, but they still want to get a nice, good core workout. And this is actually called the chair sit-up. So we're not getting on the floor. We're not trying to get up off the floor. We're just using a chair. And what you do here, you'll slide all the way to the front of your chair. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. And you're going to lean back until the back of your shoulder touches the chair. And then you're going to pull yourself back up. And that's all you do. You want to make sure you have your abs nice and tight here. So make sure everything's nice and solid. Lean back, touch your shoulders to the back, and then pull yourself forward. And one way that you can do this, the farther you're sitting, the more difficult the exercise is. So if you're not there yet as far as being advanced difficulty, you can slide back a little bit farther, closer to the chair, and just make it a little bit easier on yourself. That way, again, all about those SMART goals. making them attainable, making them realistic, okay? Last exercise, I know I heard a few of you talk about leg strength and losing strength in your legs, which is another issue as we age and get older. One of my favorite exercises to give residents is the chair stand. Again, very, very simple exercise, just using a chair. But of course, this is going to engage our quadricep muscles, which are actually the biggest muscle group in our body. And the reason why it's very important to work on our quadricep muscles as well as our hamstrings is because these muscles encapsulate the kneecap. And a lot of people who have had knee surgeries, knee replacements, hip replacements, things like that, it's very important for us to keep those muscles around those joints strong because those muscles actually help to support those joints. And so I'm gonna go ahead and move into the actual exercise of the chair stand. So what you'll do is go ahead and stand in front of your chair. And you can do this with a chair with arms or without arms. It's completely up to you. I have residents that like to do both. So all you're gonna do, spread your feet about shoulder width apart. Nice and tall. You're gonna sit, as soon as you sit, you're gonna hinge back up, you're gonna squeeze your glutes. Your glutes are your butt muscles. So when you stand, squeeze your butt muscles, have a seat, right back up, squeeze. Squeeze. I'll do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. And typically, I'll tell people to do between 10 and 15 of these repetition-wise, about 3 or 4 sets. So you're talking about about 45 to 50 repetitions total. And if you do this, I say do this daily as well. This will really, really help you with your quadricep strength and help you to retain that strength in your lower legs, as well as help you with your hamstrings and even your calf muscles as well. And so, in addition to all, keeping your legs strong, keeping those muscles healthy, remember, it's also about keeping your joints healthy as well. So I'm not sure if any of you have had any joint replacements, any hip replacements or knee replacements, but chair stands are a fantastic way to do that. One quick note, however, just make sure you get a chair that's kind of tall or that's not too low. Because if you get a chair that's too low, you may have a problem standing back up. But that's where having arms in your chair comes into play. So if you do have arms in your chair, don't feel guilty. You can use those to actually push off if you like. So just want to give you a few exercises to help you as you're still in your home. But if anybody had any questions about body parts or exercises to help them, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. No questions?
Sometimes, I think our ankles tend to get more not as flexible as they used to be, and so that alters our step pattern. What do you advise for ankle and stepping motion?
One of the best things you can do for your ankle, if you can look at my hand as sort of an analogy here, if this is my foot, trying to point that toe, this is my toe, point your toe towards the ceiling, and then point your toe down towards the floor like this. So this is called dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. And this is really good for ankle mobility. Also ankle rotation. So you're taking that foot and you're just rotating it clockwise and then counterclockwise as well. Yeah, really good exercises for ankle mobility and balance.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay. So yeah, our kind of main goal, which we hope you kind of got from this today, is that movement and the way that we eat, and also making sure that we're resting our bodies, all of those things in my mind are kind of equally important, just to kind of think about the overall picture and create that balance that we mentioned. But we have some handouts that I can send to Kara that have this information in them, and just a little bit more maybe about nutrition and some of the movements that Duran mentioned, if you guys like to have that to hold on to. But can we answer any other questions right now?
Well, I think it's all a matter of putting it together. And it's like I heard someone say one time, diets isn't so much about foods, what you do eat and don't eat. It's about mental discipline. And I think most of the things that that come so difficult for us is that we get we just get maybe lazy or just I don't care. Oh, it's not going to be any big deal. I mean, we get into this thing of discounting what we can and can't do, and I think we begin to think that we can't do things, so therefore we don't do things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'm kind of like, I forget who it was that mentioned having the ice cream with your grandson, but stuff like that it's fine. It's all about the big picture. Eating that for one day is not going to ruin the rest of your days. It's everything is about what we're doing, throughout the day, throughout the week. There's so many things that impact our health. Food and exercise are just two of them. We have other things like stress and hormones and any medical conditions we might be working with. So these are just a couple of things that are impacting us that we, can have somewhat control over. But you're right, it's not easy. But I just encourage people to be gentle with themselves and really celebrate any small change that you make for yourself, because it does make a difference in the long run.
Yeah, I like the woman that does that yoga class. Her name is Adrienne, Yoga by Adrienne. She's been on, have you ever seen her? She's
I've
really
heard of her, yes.
Yeah, and she's so good because she's like, whatever skill level you are, and she said, so like, any of you who feel you're not as flexible, just stretch to your feet as far as you can. Even if you just get to the middle of, just below the middle of your calf or something, just do what you can, and it gets better as you do it. But she's just encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And when people just realize, just do the best you can, you don't have to do it perfectly, the first time.
Yeah. You're only competing with yourself, I guess.
I have a question about balance.
Yes.
Recently I was in physical therapy and they had me buy a piece of foam that's about 2 inches thick, high density foam, and stand on it with my feet in different configurations.
Yes. Oh, I didn't catch your question. I'm sorry.
What can you give me tips for improving balance? Because when I was in physical therapy recently, they had me buy this thick, high density foam and stand with my feet together halfway up and then in front. I am not good at it at all.
Yes. So that's actually called a piece of balance foam, and it's used to measure your dynamic balance. There's two types of balance. There's static balance, which has to do with standing on hard, normal surfaces like concrete or your typical floor inside the house. And then dynamic balance is a little bit more, it's a little bit more, has more movement involved to it. It's a little bit more unstable. So think of surfaces like sand and mud and grass, things like that. But with your pad, I would recommend doing a one step on, one step off with the pad. And what that is just standing with one foot on and then standing with one foot off, and seeing if you can hold that position with both eyes open for about 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. I would start small, maybe 5, and then work your way up slowly to 10, and then switch your foot position, place your other foot on the pad, and then place your other foot off the pad. Hold that position for about 5 seconds just to see where you stand. And then from there, maybe place both feet on the pad and hold that position for about 5 to 10 seconds. And so that pad really does a great job at helping people with their, not just their dynamic balance, but also with their vestibular system. A lot of people have inner ear issues, and that can also affect their balance. Our somatosensory, it's called your somatosensory system. So that's your body's depth perception and your body's sense of where it is in space. And so with that balance pad, those are the two main things I would work on. Or you could start to kind of build your confidence. If you don't feel that you want to use that balance pad, you can do the same activity just without it. So if you can imagine doing a heel toe, I'm not sure if your therapist had you do a heel to toe stance where they have you putting one foot directly in front of the other. that's another great way to slowly, improve your overall balance, just that heel toe. And if you didn't feel comfortable with that, you could even do something that's called just one foot slightly in front of the other. So you can imagine one toe is here, one toe is right about here. So that's about 1 foot slightly in front of the other. That's called the modified heel toe. And then of course, 1 foot directly behind the other is called, that's the regular heel toe. And so there's a lot of different ways, but I'm envious because I don't have a balance pad of my own, so I need to go out and get one. You're already 1 step ahead.
Amazon.com has them.
Amazon.com.
They've got it.
I'm gonna have to get one of those. But yeah, I use them at work all the time. They're a great resource. All right. Any other questions?
I had to try that heel toe, and it's harder to do than I thought it would be. I didn't fall
It's a
down
little
on
bit.
my head.
So it is a little difficult. I definitely recommend standing next to something that's very stable. If you have a chair, a nice sturdy chair, if you're near a couch or something like that where you can really hold on to something, and maybe try that modified heel toe first. Try holding that for 5 to 10 seconds, and then you can slowly work your way to the traditional heel toe. But that's our method of building our way up and working our way up over time, and also to build confidence as well.
So we talked about, getting in a variety of foods, trying to grab some from each of the food groups each day, trying to eat throughout the day, making sure we're eating enough. Sometimes that's tricky. Our fluids, and then simple ways that we can kind of move with household objects that most people have. So hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. And if you have any other questions, Kara has our information. We'd be happy to come back again or send you some things. So yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's give them a hand, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a question. What about the vitamins? And, these days, I mean, if you watch TV for any amount of time, there's some kind of supplement for something and that kind of thing. But vitamins are kind of, and if we have a balanced food intake, with the My Plate scheme, are vitamins important for older people to take?
Right. So that's a great question. And it's another one that's kind of individualized. It's always best to get our vitamins and minerals directly from foods. If you can eat a good variety, our body just tends to process them better. So, we might be getting vitamin C from a supplement, but getting it from a piece of fruit, our body just does better things with it, basically. But sometimes, we might be facing some different medical conditions, or if you go to your doctor and maybe sometimes they'll draw blood and say, oh, we're low in iron, or you're low in vitamin D, or something like that. Sometimes, depending on how low we are in something, a supplement can be helpful, even if it's just temporarily. Because some foods, especially, it's tricky to get things like vitamin D from. There just aren't a lot of great sources of it. And most people are, deficient in vitamin D. But short answer, food is typically the best place to get your vitamins and minerals. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for coming this evening and for just this incredible information. And I will get the information from Rachel and the handouts, and we'll send that out to you guys this week. And yeah, so
And that'll come with an invitation to their wedding.
We do have a virtual option now because of COVID. So
We do.
Oh,
We love to invite you.
no, you still have to wear the tux. Sorry. Yeah.
Sarah, are you going to send like an email for the people for the recording, like Sarah, people who want to like access it, or?
I absolutely can. Yes, I've been recording this, and so I will post it to our YouTube channel through the church, and then can send everyone who'd like to the link. So, because this
Great,
is
thank
just
you.
incredible information, and yeah, so we definitely want to pass this out.
Got you a recording. So that means everything I said's been recorded, huh?
Oh,
I
gosh.
forgot about that.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I should have stopped talking a long time ago. No.
All right, guys. Well, thank
Can,
you
can
so,
we
so
do a
much.
video clip where where you splice things together and take stuff out?
That's Marcus's wheelhouse, not mine.
Ah,
I'm just
there
happy
we
to
go.
get it loaded on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to get it loaded.
Can they edit my face and make my face clean shaven too?
Yeah, sure. And I don't have gray hair. I have red hair.
That's
Sure.
right. I'll cut and
Right,
splice this together so we all look our best.
It's all COVID. We can blame COVID, so it's okay.
Exactly. I didn't look like this before COVID, right? I'm sure I didn't look like this before COVID.
Well, Norma, you know what they'll say? They'll go, "Well, that's just Norma."
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well. Bad.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a blessing to be here. Thank you so much.
Great.